three cards that popped out. What I'm getting for you here is I feel that a lot of you are at a juncture in your life, like at a major decision point. And I keep getting this, kind of panic setting in where you feel like, if you were to go down one path, it's you can't really backtrack. And if it leads you down a wrong destination, then you feel that that's pretty much it. I'm stuck there, and you can't really backtrack and do things in another way. So I feel like a lot of the anxiety is just projection. Okay, it's kind of like you have to pick a path, and you feel like one path will steer you in a totally different trajectory altogether, from which you can't backtrack. So it's the anxiety regarding the possibilities. It's kind of like the opportunity costs are so great, but you don't even know what the opportunity costs are because you haven't really made a decision yet. So at this point, you're working yourself into a state of panic, and I feel like anxiety because of the projection, because you're thinking like way too far ahead. Okay, so once again, it is overthinking, and you might want to try to steer away from that. And just, the best thing to do, I feel, is to get a blueprint. So that means, writing out the pros and cons of every decision that is available to you, and writing out the list of pros and cons, and just to see which one has greater amount of pros, and then just choosing that, because you're in so much anxiety right now. I feel as well that getting like a bird's eye view, so that means thinking it out, but also writing it down, and then you can compare and contrast and see what's the best option for you, rather than being stuck at a junction. Okay, because it feels to me as if you're kind of scared to make that first step, and so you're keeping yourself a little bit stuck. So moving forward would be the best option at this present moment. Okay, I do feel that no matter what, life is all about choices and decisions. And once again, it's not about the destination. It's about the whole process of going through life and, finding your way. And it's mainly about, trying to live the experiences from in between the destinations. And those are the things that actually will allow us to grow and allow us to become fully aware of what we want in the first place. Okay, so just don't be afraid to make these important decisions. All right, and just know that if it's not meant to be, it's going to be weaned out of your life anyways. So the important thing is to move forward. Okay, so let's look at this spread here. The in the past position, we do have the Five of Coins in the reverse position. So if this card is going to come out at all, it's best in the reverse. So this is overcoming a lot of fears, a lot of self-doubt, also a lot of financial situation. And it's a situation as well where you might have been very emotionally tied up with finances, or you might feel that there is a financial lack. But in the reverse position, it means coming from out of this dark phase into a very hopeful space that you're in right now. So you're moving from this, you're clearing up the self-doubt, you're clearing up the financial situation. So a lot of you might have gotten new jobs, for example, or you might have like gotten into a place where your financial situation is starting to correct itself. So I don't feel that you're completely out of the dark yet, but you're emerging from the darkness, and at least you are starting to see there are potentially, different paths you can take in order to overcome this situation. Okay, so hence, going back to the message I mentioned earlier about the paths, you were in a really dark place and you don't want the same thing to repeat. And so, steer yourself away in a better positive direction. So do something that you've never done before. That will ensure that you won't end up here. Okay. In terms of what's happening right now, we have the Five of Swords, and it's in the reverse position. And the Five of Swords, fives overall in the tarot, indicates conflict. Okay, when it comes to the sword energy, and because you're an air sign, it indicates to me more than anything inner conflict. So it's in the reverse position, meaning that this inner conflict is definitely coming to an end, and you are going to be in a place where you have a I guess like a sense of how you want to proceed. If this is a conflict with other people, I do feel it is coming to an end. So either way, it looks very good. It looks very positive, because what's crossing it here is the Four of Cups. And when the Four of Cups crosses the conflict card, this is a situation where you have the information you need in order to know what the cause of the conflict was. If words were exchanged between you and another party, you actually now know where you stand with them. So I feel as if a lot of you have some options here, and you actually have, I feel like four. Okay, four options that you can take, or four paths that you can move forward with. But because it's a crossing energy, I feel as if you're not really making a decision to do anything new. Now, in terms of what's crowning you, we have the Six of Swords. And the Six of Swords, when it's in the reverse position, once again, I feel stagnation, okay? Not moving forward and being at a standstill. But in this situation, the crowning energy is something I'm sensing. It's kind of like going back to a previous situation that did not work. So you're in danger of, rather than moving and choosing a different path, I feel that a lot of you haven't adequately learned from the past, and you might be returning to the past. Okay, so this is lack of movement, this is lack of forward progression, but it's also a card about moving backwards in time. And it's in the upright position. Is basically she's sailing from a troublesome environment to safer waters. But in this deck, the swords are left behind, and the swords indicate knowledge and truths. And when they're left behind, it means that, you're not bringing the knowledge with you in order to navigate the previous situation. You're leaving it behind, and you're hoping, since the conflict has stopped, then maybe I can go back to it. So a lot of it has to be, I feel like, greatly with a relationship partner, where you have like multiple run-ins with one another, and now that things are smooth, you're thinking about going back. If that's the case, just be very, very clear about, you lay out your other options, okay? Because it seems to me like you're kind of tunnel vision, and you're thinking to yourself, I need to go back to this because it's safe, when in fact you have plenty of other options available to you. So, having that blueprint, getting that bird's eye view, thinking about what how that situation transpired, and what I've learned from it, and why do I want to put myself back there in the first place. Is it out of a sense of security? Is it a sense of familiarity? Or is it something that you are very emotionally invested in? Because there is some danger here of getting back into some type of a vicious cycle. It's a crowning energy, meaning that it has the potential to come in. But I do feel that you want to be very careful about this, okay? A lot of you might be getting like a blast from the past because of the Mercury retrograde energy, and because Mercury is your ruler. So it brings in things from the past that, if they haven't been properly addressed, or if you haven't really learned the lesson, it's really important to learn it now, okay? Because it's coming in for round 2. So the foundation here is a little bit problematic, and that's why I want you to really think about, lay out your options. You're not as stuck as you seem, because I feel like a lot of roads are opening up, and they're new frontiers, and you're afraid of taking the new path, because you don't know where it's going to take you. And because of it, the going back to something that you've done before seems like the safer bet. So just don't get yourself, that illusion about feeling stuck. You're not really stuck. You just need to go with something new. The foundation here is a finance card, which is a little bit problematic, because you're coming out from 5 of coins, and you're ending in a wobbly financial state. So the foundation here is the 9 of coins, and it's in the reverse position as well. So the 9 of coins is basically overcoming a lot of financial worries, anxieties, that, feeling the lack situation, overcoming all of that, and realizing that you're stronger than you really give yourself credit for. When it's in the reverse position, it means that you've worked really, really hard to rebuild yourself. I feel that a lot of you have done massive, massive overhaul in all sectors of your life within the past 6 months. I feel progressing to a state where things are becoming wobbly. Your foundation is becoming wobbly. So keep that in mind, and keep that in perspective as well, okay? You have many options, I feel. So don't be a slave to the past. Now, in terms of what's coming in, we have the Knight of Coins. And the Knight of Coins usually indicates to me a new financial opportunity. And this is also the slowest moving knight in the deck. So there is definitely some hesitancy on your end about taking that next step in your life, okay? This can also be a relationship partner as well if you are seeing, or if there is an earth sign in your periphery. So earth signs are Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo. There is something new coming in, so the advice for you is to not look back, okay? If this is a romantic partner from your past, I do feel that it has the potential to work, but you have to do things very, very differently. So that means thinking back at all the arguments, everything that was dished out between both parties, and figuring out for yourself whether or not it's worth it. Because the person is showing up in the upright position, I do feel that a lot of the times I do sense that somebody's reaching out to you with a promise, and I feel like it can be love or it can be financial prosperity in terms of a new job, but they're not taking any action. So they're kind of like, here it is, come and get it. So if it's somebody from your past, you just want to be very careful. I feel very strongly a lot of you might have a blast from the past, like an ex or a previous person that you've worked with that is an earth sign, and they are bringing up an opportunity, and I don't feel it's good for you to go back to something from your past. Okay, you worked so hard the past 6 months to rebuild your empire, so now, do things on your own and advance forward. Don't look back at the past, okay? It seems to me like it's potentially painful. It's a place of sorrow. It's a place of low self-esteem. And it seems as if it took you like, 5 months, 6 months in order to overcome this, rebuild yourself. So don't get sucked back into this energy, okay? So let's leave all this whole mess of stuff behind us. And let's talk about the rest of the spread here. In terms of the advice, we do have the Knight of Swords. And once again, this is advancing forward without fear. This is your energy because you are an air sign. And the Knight of Swords is the fastest moving knight in the deck. And this is telling me that, whatever juncture, whatever, crossroads you're at, the advice here is just to move forward. You have to, whenever we're in a place where, we don't really know where to go, and we cycle through like, what ifs and worst case scenarios, and we project too far into the future, it scares us. The unknown is scary because we want control, and we usually want to be able to foresee everything. So don't get yourself once again in that mental space where you're thinking about your life rather than living it, okay? So going forward and just venturing on and be courageous. This is something that is going to be very beneficial for you. So pick a path and go forward is the advice here. And be fearless as well. Be fearless here. What's coming in around you is the Queen of Wands. So this is the external environment, and this is what I call the fairy godmother. You are going to be protected. I'm sensing a very, very strong soul connection coming in from a mentor, somebody that is potentially older than you, and somebody that acts almost like a maternal figure, like a fairy godmother. This can be, physically your own mother who is giving you guidance. So if you need some guidance about, where to go, which direction to take, consult somebody who is older than you. Consult somebody who is potentially, if you need guidance when it comes to how to achieve a certain project, or how to advance in the next phase in your career, ask a mentor in your field. So I definitely feel someone is coming through for you, and they're going to be very, very instrumental in helping you advance forward in a very courageous and also systematic manner, because air signs are innately about, strategy. Okay, so move forward because you have some divine protection here. External to you can physically just be a fire sign, and I do feel that this comes in not so much, isn't so much of a romance reading, but I do feel the blast from the past could potentially be an earth sign. But I do feel external to you, which is like the helping energy, a very benevolent figure, that is going to really, change your life and direct your life in a better trajectory is coming through. So this is a fire sign, so Leo, Sagittarius, Aries. So if there is some type of a mentor around, and I feel very strongly, I don't associate gender to this card, but I do feel it is going to be a very strong maternal mentor figure, okay, because of the moon on her pouch, and moons usually indicate to me more of a maternal and also a female energy. So this is something that would be really beneficial for you to, this is the person for you to come to for mentorship, for guidance, okay, for advice, for reassurance. I feel like reassurance is what you really need. And a lot of you might be dealing with a Sagittarius for some reason. I'm sensing that, Sagittarius is ruled by the planet Jupiter, and Sagittarius are very, very good at seeing the whole picture. Now, Libras, they're good at seeing both sides of the story, and interpersonal relationships and things like that. They're great mediators. But when you are projecting forward and you're trying to find the best course of action for yourself at a very important juncture in your life, I do feel that having a Sagittarius on your side would be very beneficial for you. A Sagittarius and Aries. Aries are very fearless, but Sagittarius sees the bigger picture because of their ruling planet. So I do feel that they would be very good at giving you, I guess, like unbiased advice. Unbiased advice is what I'm sensing here. So that would be, really beneficial for you. In terms of your hopes and fears, we do have here the King of Swords in the reverse position. This is, once again, your energy. This is the fear. The ultimate fear here is being wrong, okay? And I don't feel there is like deception or anything like that, but I definitely fear that you're so afraid of moving on, mainly because you feel like if you take one path, there are opportunity costs associated with what could have panned out with the other path. And then it seems as if, when you choose one thing, all of the other options in your head rather than living in the real world. So all those thoughts, while they are meaningful when formulating a game plan for yourself, they're keeping you stuck in a very dark place. So you're in danger of, going back to a dark cave and you can't find any direction. So you need some mentorship, you need some guidance, okay? Talking to somebody who is, potentially in your environment. It can be a mother, just somebody who has been through it, so they can give you some insights would be really beneficial for you, because I feel so much fear and anxiety. So honestly, I feel so much for you, Geminis, and I haven't picked it up. This, don't go back to this dark cave. Find some answers in the real world, okay? Consult people if you need to. You actually have very, very strong divine guidance. Whenever this card shows up in the external environment, I automatically think fairy godmother. Someone is helping you behind the scenes. Some benevolent forces in the universe is coming to your rescue. You just have to reach out and you have to consult them, okay? So it seems to me as if, in this picture, you're that little plant and you're being watered and nurtured. And it's kind of like you don't even know it. So there is something in someone in your environment that is helping you. And if you need the direction, then it seems almost as if, where you are right now between the fork in the road is a really sweet place and you want to stay there forever. But life is basically calling to you and you're not taking that next step, is what I'm sensing. So you're stuck in this place because you're afraid of being wrong. You're afraid of, choosing the wrong path and then dealing with the consequences. Well, the thing about life is you don't know what the wrong path is. You don't know what the right path is. Each path will bring you a different outcome. And don't take opportunities and make them so fatalistic, okay? Because it's about the journey. So it's about the learning experience, it's about the journey, and it's about also having faith in yourself. So the advice here is don't be the King of Swords, where he sits there and he doesn't do anything, and he is very intelligent, but for some reason he can't tap into this, sort of truth energy and operate in a very intelligent manner, in a very systematic manner, the way that you've done in the past. So rather embody the energy of this knight where he charges on courageously, and he feels like he is confident and secure enough that the universe will take care of him, and that he is intelligent enough to know how to take on the next obstacle that comes his way. So a lot of you are just in a place of intense, I feel like intense fear. If you are in an academic setting, I feel that you really have to, pick a choice and go with it. And that's what life is about. Just, making a decision. There is some indecisiveness here. There's stagnation. There's like worries. There's a lot about opportunity cost, like lost opportunities in the past, and then feeling so comfortable with stagnation that and feeling like so immobilized by fears and possibilities in your life that you don't know which path to take. It's almost like that typical Libra energy that I feel when they are so inundated by choices that they don't want to move. But this one is more about, I don't want to get stuck in the past like I was before. I don't want this decision to, lead me down to a repeat of what happened 6 months ago. So I don't want to make the wrong choice. So there's a lot of fear about not trusting in your intelligence, not trusting in your own capabilities, and also not trusting that the universe has your back. Okay, so I know you've been through a lot and you're feeling a little bit jaded, and you feel as if you're the only one alone in this world. And the advice here is you have some divine protection. So it would be in your best interest, take a path, pick one and go with it, and be fearless. The more fearless you are, the more risks you're going to take. And I feel that with great risks come great rewards. So the other thing I want to say is, whatever has happened before, do the opposite of that. Okay, don't go back to it. Don't make the same mistake. As long as you've got that covered, as long as you've taken that lesson with you, you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. Now, in terms of the outcome, let's talk about this first. It's the Death card. So you can't stay where you are right now. You have to make a choice, unfortunately, okay? Life is about experiences, and it's about growing up, and we are in danger of not growing and stagnating when we stay in one place. So create that opportunity for yourself and, move on from things, okay? Rather than sitting there ruminating, it would be in your best interest to move forward, okay? And let's look at the other two options. I feel that for a lot of you, there are some financial worries coming through. And we do have here the Page of Coins. And if there is an offer of a new job coming through, I feel that for a lot of you, you have no choice but to really take it, because there might be, a lack of options, and it's not something that you wanted to do, or it's not something that you want to revert back to, or it's not like your ideal job. But in the interim, it would be the best option for you is to just take it, okay? I know it's Mercury in retrograde and all, but if you are in a place of financial worries and you have to take a job, despite it being Mercury in retrograde, you just have to take a job. It's all about survival. So don't be afraid. Just go with it and then have it pan out the way that you want. And if anything, you can always find work in the future. So I know that, when I disseminate the message, life is a lot more complicated than that. But in the process of overthinking, you get yourself so worked up. So it would be in your best interest to try to simplify a situation as much as you can. I feel that for a lot of air signs, not so much Libras. Libras are very systematic. It's just the indecisiveness and, missing opportunities based on indecisiveness. But for like a lot of Aquarius and Geminis, there's a lot of overthinking, overanalyzing, and then not making a decision, and then working themselves into a state of fear, like sheer terror from, like running through scenarios, running them to the ground, and then feeling like dissatisfied, because in the process of thinking about things, you feel like you've already lived it, and you already feel as if you know the outcome. Well, no one actually knows the outcome to anything. So it would be best to just, try to simplify your decisions as much as you can, because I feel that it's going to be more helpful for you, okay? Think in a more systematic manner, the way that earth signs do. They reduce a complex problem into manageable pieces, and then they tackle things one at a time. They have checklists. They're very, very systematic, and because of it, their progress is slow but very steady, and they accomplish a lot. Okay, so I do feel that there is going to be opportunities coming through for you, and I feel like you're not taking it, okay? I have such strong hits here that you have some very, very strong divine protection coming in from the maternal side for a lot of you, okay? So the other card that is coming through is the Two of Coins in the reverse position. A lot of you for this month, please rein in on your spending when it comes to like emotional spending and things like that. Just learn from your past financial mistakes, and you really need to remember think really hard about the last time that you were mired in a place of like financial worries, and rein in your spending, okay? I feel that you might drop the ball when it comes to balancing of you. Your emotional state was somewhat very, very much tied in with money, and this is kind of like a repeat of what happened. It could just be the energy when it comes to, learning about budgeting, learning about managing your resources, or even just the sheer lesson of not giving your, I guess, like, not, how do I put this, not placing so much importance on money where your financial situation affects your emotional state. I hope that makes sense. So that's a really strong message here, but the whole overall message is financial control. Okay, finding a way to achieve financial control so that your emotional state is not affected, or finding a way to sever the ties between finances and your emotions. So emotional spending, for example, or even um, identifying so strongly with money that you feel like if you're not working and you're not making 60 grand a year, for example, even though that's not a lot, but it's a lot for a lot of people. But for example, if you're like comparing what other people are making versus what you're making, and somehow your self-esteem, your sense of importance, and your sense of just satisfaction is so greatly tied in with how much money you make, okay? If you have to take a job and there is a pay cut, for example, for whatever reason, if the tides have turned, and you're now offered a job where you're making, half that, um, it's still okay. It's still okay. So it is Mercury in retrograde. So, I do feel there will be other opportunities for you as well. So go with it. Take up on that new opportunity. I feel like you just have to get going, okay? One of the things that I was sensing, and I mentioned, with divine protection coming through with this Queen of Wands external to you, this fairy godmother, is this situation here. And it's interesting because I do mediumship readings, and it's on a resonance basis. Usually when I do tarot readings for clients, and a past loved one's a loved one who has passed away comes through in the reading, then I would offer to do some mediumship readings for clients. And I usually get this message when there is some kind of divine protection. I guess we're done with the spread, so let me show you this, Geminis, and let me just show you that you are protected, okay? So we have this situation, and when I do mediumship readings, I usually get messages in like this, and the bottom row is usually the earthly plane, and the top row is usually the let's just put, for example, like that. So the top row is usually the heavens, okay? This is the other realm, and usually I associate it with heaven because of my religious upbringing. But we do believe in reincarnation, and alternate universes and other planes. So this is like the other realm where spirit guides or deceased loved ones reside, and that's where they're trying to help us. So I feel like you have this, you're stuck here, and you're stuck at this juncture, and you're really not moving because, once again, Knight of Pentacles, They are so, so slow, and they won't move. They just won't move. Opportunities are knocking and they're sitting there assessing, okay? So I feel like this is not an earth sign, but I feel like this is you. And you're given something here. The universe is coming through and is giving you something. And I feel very strongly, this is the first time it actually comes up in a general reading, but I feel like for a lot of you, there is something coming in from a maternal side of the family. It can be like somebody who's passed away who's conjuring things to help you. But there's some financial resources coming through for you. You're going to be okay, Geminis. There is some situation, something new, and I feel like a lot of it has to do with like either inheritances or work opportunities. And it's going to be really, really crucial that you just make that move, have trust that you're going to be protected, okay? So it's telling me a lot of the times when we look at situations where, you know, we tell ourselves, I'm waiting, I'm sitting here, I'm waiting, and, you know, my love relationship is not coming in, that perfect job that I want is not coming in, so when is it coming in? And it takes away our sense of human agency, or sense of free will. So you have to, you know, it's good for you to manifest, to sit there and manifest something with your heart, with your soul, but you also have to take the first step in the right direction. So when you do that, then the universe is like, okay, well, this person wants that really bad. Look at what they're doing to take initiative. And if they're clear that's what they want, then okay, we can come in and help them because now they've made it clear with their actions what they want. So the point here is you can't wait in suspension for things to come. You have to take that first step to send signals out that, you know, this is what I want. And then and I'm just going to say here that you have very strong divine protection. It's coming in from this card here. And if you look at it, just, you know, take some time, look at it. I'll hold it up for a little bit. But you have a fairy godmother around you. You have some kind of divine presence around you. And I feel for a lot of you, it is like a maternal, somebody from the maternal side, okay? So somebody from your mother's side of the family. This can be someone who passed away. I feel very strongly someone who passed away. And you also have this coming in from the heavens to hand. It's kind of like, you know, a gift drifting down from the heavens into the earthly planes. And it's usually an inheritance, or in a lot of cases too, it can be a new job, a new income generating opportunities. So this can be tapping into an innate skill that you have that you never thought you could make money off of, and for some reason you can. So, you know, tarot reading being one, and some type of creative venture, because fire sign is usually, you know, something that is, it deals with creativity. So if you're an artist, if you're a dancer, if you're a singer, if you have some kind of innate ability, skills that you can tap into in order to, you know, even just to weather yourself through this destabilizing time period, and you want to do it temporarily, or if you want to do it permanently, please look into it. You have some strong hits here that things will pan out exactly the way that you want. And this energy for this year, it's so similar to what I was feeling, you know, as early or as early or late, I guess as early as like November, December of 2014 even. So this is some old energy coming back through, and I feel that for a lot of you, this is a lesson that needs to be learned, but whatever the reason is, it's coming in a very positive light, so that you have some, so that you know you're being watched over, okay? So don't be afraid to take that first step. Geminis, I do wish you all the best. If you like a private reading, please contact me at temperatestar@gmail.com. And my website can be found in the description box down below. You can visit my website and schedule an appointment. Everything is automated, so it should be a very easy process. But I just want to say as well, you know, just take the initiative, okay? Move yourself in the and just don't go back to anything old, okay? The cards are not advising anything old, like any old ways of doing, old jobs, old people. not old people physically, but you know, like exes and things like that, because it's not going to work out well. So this Mercury retrograde period is definitely challenging because I feel like a lot of old fears and anxieties for you more than other signs have crept up, and it's keeping you in a very stuck environment. So, you know, try to do away with this negative headspace. Try not to overanalyze the situation and work yourself into a state of pessimism. And also, I feel very strongly the major advice here is you need to do something. But I know for a lot of you, you feel like once I play out the scenario in my head, it feels as if I've already lived it. I've already lived it. So what's the point of actually doing it when I already know what's going to happen? Well, we don't all have that, you know, ability. You do, because you know you're an air sign. You think so far ahead into the future. But because of it, you're in danger of letting your own life slip away from you, okay, without doing anything. And then you're going to find that, you know, you start aging and things like that. But not to get so fatalistic, but the message here is you need to do something. You need to get going, okay? This is like very stuck energy. So inaction is as bad as making the wrong choice. Just do something. So just go forward and be fearless, and things will be okay. You coming in from somebody who has passed over from the maternal side of the family, okay? You are protected. Geminis, I do wish you the best. And if you are a Gemini out there watching this, I would, you know, just email me if you are dealing with this situation. If the reading has been helpful, please let me know, all right? I feel strong hits and strong protection here for you. I do wish you the best, Gemini. Sorry the video is so long, and take care of yourself.